What was last year like for you, just in general, when you take a moment to reflect on it?
Definitely a little bit different. Probably not how I originally imagined. Spent a lot of time in a lot of different places, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
What did you imagine going into it?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I was kind of just taking each day, just trying to work on getting better, 1% better every day, and not really worrying about the results, and just more of like a process oriented. So, I don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no.
What's it like to draw the starting assignment in a game like this, showcase like this?
It's an incredible honor. There's a lot of guys in there that, we're up for that, and I'm just honored and grateful for the opportunity. Talked to Dom Hamill about his experience last year, so it's got to pick his brain, and just excited to get going.
After last year, to what extent, if at all, do your expectations shift now going forward in terms of like what you want to achieve this year?
It's the same thing, right? Just going in there and just trying to get 1% better, be a good teammate, and I feel like we're just going to have a really fun year.
Can you kind of take us through your repertoire, what works for you, what you might be trying to improve this spring?
Big thing for me this spring is just attacking hitters. I feel like at times it's just the only thing we can really do as pitchers, especially this early, and just trying to make sure we're getting prepped for the season. I would say that's probably my repertoire plan.
And what about the way you go about attacking hitters? Like what pitches works for you and how your best stuff?
My best pitch is my fastball. Use curveball as well. Working on a new slider and just adjusting a changeup. So it's really interesting to see how they're working on the backfield games, and really excited about the progress going on there.
How is that slider different than the one you were trying to throw last year?
Ironically, it's the exact same. It's just more consistent. So we're just trying to. Last year, kind of shifted between a cutter and a slurve. So we're just trying to tighten up the shape.
So you want to be a little bit more like a cutter in that?
No, I just want it to be more of a slider than the two. So just relative to my arm slot.
What's it mean to you when people discuss the top pitching prospects in the organization? Your name is invariably mentioned.
Honestly, I didn't really think of anything too much of it, and just there's a lot of great guys over there. So I'm just excited to get to work with them.
Yesterday we asked Carlos Mendoza who he would, what guys he wanted to see in the breakout game. He mentioned your name. What is that? What's your reaction to that?
That's pretty cool. Coming from our manager, that's awesome. But just focus here on just executing.
But he's got a ton of fever. It's not a temptation to keep doing it, or to do both of them.
Pitching was definitely fun, but I feel like the future for me is probably with the bat, so I'm going to stick there.
How does that conversation go, or how did it go last year? Is that something you decide, or the organization comes to you?
I'd say it was came to an understanding. It was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Obviously, putting down pitching was tough because I liked it, but getting to be able to just focus on hitting was definitely exciting and motivating for me.
Can you see the difference, even though it's very early, with the added muscle and what you're able to do at the plate?
Definitely. Balls are coming off a little bit harder and getting more comfortable in the box. So
It must be a nice feeling over that, right? When you get it goes a little further or feels a little sweeter.
yeah, definitely. It definitely puts in perspective all the work I put in this past off season. So definitely keep working from here and get better along the way.
Life been like since the draft?
Yeah, just been down here just during the camps and stuff, and been here for the last month and a half, and then was able to come down in January for a couple weeks too for another camp. So still getting my feet wet, getting used to what professional baseball is going to be like, but enjoying every second of it so far.
What's been the most maybe surprising thing going from college to the pros?
It's definitely an adjustment. Going to a school like Duke, it's a lot different where you don't have to worry about the academics anymore and just get to focus on baseball for the first time in your life. So I'm enjoying that part, and still a learning curve from that aspect, but I'm really excited for that and how that's going to help my development down the road.
You don't miss going to class?
No, not at all. I can't say so. No.
Who's winning the tournament?
Got to go with the Blue Devils, yeah. They won last night. They're on a roll, even without their best player, so we'll see how that goes.
How do you feel physically this spring coming into the season?
I'm feeling really good. I think I'm in a good position overall, and everything's been going towards my plans moving forward, so I'm really happy with how I've been feeling every day, my recovery, and I think being down here has allowed me to come up with a really good routine every day to stick to that makes me feel good.
Participating in a showcase like tonight, what does that mean for you?
Just this is my first kind of taste of professional baseball, and this is what I've always dreamed of doing since I've been a little kid, and I'm really excited to kind of put myself out there for the first time.
When you signed, obviously teams get their hands on a pitcher. They say, okay, this is what we'd like you to do. This is our plan for you. Was anything different from what you had been told in college? Is there anything you're working on, or that's new to you now that you're in the pros?
I mean, this is my second full year just pitching, so it's still kind of a learning curve on that aspect, and I think that's really exciting part for me is I'm just kind of learning how to be a pitcher only, and I think with that comes a lot of different things such as routine, different types of routine, and how you go about your business every day, and I think professional baseball has allowed me kind of to flourish and kind of know what to expect and how to move forward to reach my ultimate goals.
Speaking of learning curve, Andy Green mentioned you're working on a curveball, and it's like you've been throwing it your whole life.
Yeah.
What is that process of pitch been like?
Yeah, that was something I just kind of thought maybe it would work in my repertoire and kind of just add to it, and kind of just been practicing. I've never thrown it before, and kind of just throw it just like a fastball and just let the grip kind of take care of itself. But I'm really happy with how that pitch has come along, even with it only being probably a month since I've thrown it first and only thrown it to batters a couple times total. So I think that's going to be a really good pitch for me down the road.
I know they weren't there when you were at Duke, but as a professional athlete with the New York organization, do you know any of the big names from Duke who played in New York recently, Daniel Jones or Marcus Stroman?
I've never met them personally. I know Marcus Stroman. His younger brother's going to Duke next year for baseball, so I know he's been around a couple times, but I've never met them personally. But they're all great athletes and some of the best to ever come through Duke for their respective sports.
I can't believe that kid's going to be in college already.
Yeah, next year. I believe it's next year, yeah.
Do you know Cooper Flag?
I had a class with him this fall, actually, yeah. Documentary studies, so I was in a group with him for a little bit, yeah.
So you went back for classes in the fall.
Yeah.
Did you graduate? Or are you working on graduating? Or are you just
one more class away.
One class
away.
away.
So hopefully at some point I can take an online class to get that degree. But I got all my requirements done, so it's just that last credit. So
specific class, or could be any class?
Literally anything. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Is that? I mean, minor league season goes through August, September. Could you do it in the fall, or is it?
Yeah. They offer online classes like asynchronous down the road at some point, so it doesn't really matter when I actually do it because it's only one class, so see what's available and kind of go from there and see what my schedule looks like.
Is that important to you to get the degree?
Yeah, academics have always been really important to me, so especially at a school like Duke, I feel like it's important for me and my family. Always kind of growing up, academics are just as important as baseball, and I feel like I always worked just as hard in school as I did in sports, so I think that's really important to finish that off and kind of the icing on the cake.